Before we start today's show, make sure you subscribe to us here on Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we are 220 people away from 46,000 subscribers. Do it for Herm Edwards, Miracle at the Meadowlands. We provide you with daily and year-round coverage of the Birds, so lock us in and subscribe. Appreciate all of the support. As for what we're getting into on today's show, some post-June 1 targets. This is always that time of the year when we can start talking about this, right? It's May 30th, after Memorial Day. Some good players could be available on the free agency market as post-June 1 cuts, as well as post-June 1 trade targets. And Kevin Byard of the Tennessee Titans and another safety in Budda Baker of the Arizona Cardinals. Keep it locked. That's all coming up right now. Let's do this. Today's Philadelphia Eagles Now is presented by Roan. Shout out to my guy, Brandon Ford, a loyal viewer of Philadelphia Eagles Now. He used our promo code ChatSports at roan.com/chatsports at a mall over the weekend here in the Dallas area. He sent me a picture of it. He went to the golf course, was rocking some Roan gear, and you can do the same and get that same deal. It's 20% off your order, roan.com/chatsports. A lot of people have supported us by buying some Roan products. That's why they sent me the commuter polo. I've rocked their commuter shirt, which you see right here. Flexible material, breathable material. It's stretchy fabric as well. And when you wear these products, wrinkles actually go away over time. So you don't have to worry about going to the dry cleaner any longer. Men's closets were due for a change. Roan stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter collection, the most comfortable, breathable, flexible set of products known to man. And they have products for every occasion, right? Brandon Ford bought a golf polo and some pants to wear on the golf course. I'm wearing this polo here. I have worn the commuter shirt, the dress shirt under a suit, or just wearing it with the shirt, and that's it. Looking good is easy. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. Roan's commuter collection gives you the most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. So for our Eagles Now audience, 20% off. Roan.com/chatsports. We appreciate them for making today's show possible. We're going to put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. Roan, today's presenting sponsor of Philadelphia Eagles Now. So I'm interested to get everybody's thoughts on what we're going to dive into on today's show. And I'm excited to kind of explore this, right? Because I think that Howie Roseman is not done yet. Philadelphia Eagles still have some money available as far as their salary cap goes, and they do have some remaining needs on this roster, and some good players could be available post-June 1. Now, some of you might not be familiar with what this post-June 1 designation is. It basically, to summarize everything, allows teams to get a little bit of flexibility as far as cutting a player or trading a player after June 1 to save a little bit of money in the immediacy of the moment on that team's current salary cap. So we're going to simplify this and give you a definition of what the NFL post-June 1 designation is. So if a team cuts a player at any point before June 1st, all of his future guarantees and his remaining prorated signing bonus will immediately accelerate onto the club's salary cap. The team is forced to account for all of those charges at once, and the cap space being allocated toward a player no longer on the roster is referred to as dead money. That's a word and a phrase that we use all the time. However, the NFL's post-June 1 rule states that any player released or traded after June 1 will have his dead money spread out over 2 seasons instead of only the current campaign. So once again, this is really important here as we're about to talk about Kevin Byard and Budda Baker, right? Any player released or traded after June 1 will have his dead money spread out over the next 2 seasons instead of this upcoming season in 2023. So let's talk about Kevin Byard as well as Budda Baker. 2 very good safeties who are certainly different players in their own element, in their own regard. I would love both of them on this team. I know that the Eagles signed Terrell Edmonds. They drafted Sidney Brown. They brought in Justin Evans. They could use another stud at that position. And We're talking about an Eagles generation of fans that's grown up with Brian Dawkins. It's grown up with Malcolm Jenkins. It had C.J. Gardner-Johnson last year. And there are some question marks as far as the high-end talent that is currently on this roster at that safety position. As for Budda Baker, let's begin there. So if Arizona traded Budda Baker before June 1, he would count $7.5 million against their cap. If he's traded after June 1, you can see why he hasn't been dealt yet, he would count $3.7 million on their cap in 2023 and in 2024. For the acquiring team, they would take on his base salary of $13 million even. For Kevin Byard, similar figures here. If the Titans traded him before June 1, he'd count $13.5 million against the cap. If traded after June 1, $5.5 against the cap. That's a lot of change that you're saving there if you're Tennessee. Post June 1, $8.1 million in 2024, and then that base of $13.5 million. So with that, pick a safety. Who would you rather have? Kevin Byard or Budda Baker? KB or BB? Let me know down in the comment section right now. Both, obviously, some of the highest paid safeties in the National Football League. Derwin James takes the cake at $19 million per year, followed by Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jamal Adams, Jesse Bates, Harrison Smith. You see Budda Baker checking in there just behind Justin Simmons at $14.7 million as far as his average annual salary goes. And then it's Eddie Jackson. Then you go to Kevin Byard there at $14.1 million, followed by Marcus Williams at $14 million even. Obviously, when you're talking about this safety position here, you have to segue to this. Do the Philadelphia Eagles need a safety? It's not an overwhelming need on this roster, but does bringing in Kevin Byard or trading for Budda Baker improve this roster and make that safety position a position of strength instead of a position of question? Yes. You look at what the Eagles have been able to do throughout this offseason. Signed Terrell Edmunds. They drafted Sidney Brown. They also signed Justin Evans. Edmunds and Evans, both on those one-year contracts. Sidney Brown is a very instinctual player who played for the best defense in college football last year in the Fighting Illini, has a knack for making plays. He's really physical. Is he going to be ready in year one? He played a lot at Illinois, but sometimes that's a tall task. And then opposite of Edmunds, who figures to start at starting safety, Reed Blankenship, a former UDFA who made the 53-man roster last year, does figure to start at that free safety position. But you can see why, with this post-June 1 conversation and some of these trade candidates here, why Howie Roseman might be working the phones and why he might be interested in trading for a Budda Baker or trading for Kevin Byard. Now, Budda Baker is the more versatile safety. His usage, very similar to a player who we're very familiar with what we saw in 2022 in C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He can literally play all around the football field. Budda snap alignment in 2022, 413 snaps at free safety, 349 in the box, 148 out of the slot, 41 snaps along that defensive line. So you see his versatility, and then you see the versatility of Kevin Byard, who's a little bit different, and it changes a little bit because I would say that Byard is more of that drop back play and coverage type of safety, whereas Budda Baker is kind of like that hybrid guy who can play safety, slot corner, linebacker around that defensive line, and you use him as a chess piece, whereas Byard can kind of lock things down on that back end. 506 snaps as compared to 413 at free safety, 393 in the box actually for Byard, which is more than Budda Baker's 349. 201 out of the slot, and then 15 snaps along that defensive line as compared to 41. So that's why Budda Baker, more of that box safety who can get sent home on some blitz packages. That's the type of player that he is. Good pass breakups as well, as you can see with the figures here. 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Each of those seasons, he had at least 6 pass breakups, and the interception numbers pretty good as well. And in 3 of those 4 seasons, outside of 2021, more than 100 tackles. As for Byard, he has 4+ picks in 5 of his 7 seasons. And what I love about this, he has not missed a game after being drafted in the 3rd round back in 2016. He is more of a ball-hawking safety. Very good tackler as well. Now, he's not the athlete that Budda Baker is, but it's not like you need to be an insanely springy athlete to be successful at that safety position. More than 100 tackles in 2 of the last 4 years. Very good pass breakup numbers. 13 in 2021 is an excellent number. He had 7 interceptions his second year back in 2017, and he followed that up with a couple of really good seasons here, and that's why he's one of the highest paid safeties in the NFL. Over the last 4 years, 5, 1, 5, and 4 interceptions, and you look at what he did in 2022, 108 tackles, 0 tackles for loss. So, again, that's the difference there. You don't send him home on blitz packages. He doesn't play as much in the box as a guy like Budda Baker. 6 pass breakups and 4 interceptions. So certainly a very interesting conversation between 2 players who I wouldn't mind the Eagles trading for. You do have to pay them a little bit of money with that post-June 1 designation, but also at the same time, they make your team a lot better, and they make your team a lot better in this Super Bowl championship contending window. If you're still watching the show, real one, roll call. Give me a real one down below. We appreciate all of you for tuning into the show. And if you want to interact with me on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me there at Chase_Senior. Feel free to slide in the DMs, say what's up, tell me you love me, tell me you hate me. If you want to talk birds, that's cool. I also cover the NBA here at Chat Sports. I've been putting a lot of content on my Instagram page, trying to bulk that up a little bit. So show some love. That's how myself and Brandon Ford were actually able to connect, because he sent me a picture of him making that Roan purchase over the weekend. 20% off your order, roan.com/chatsports. We'll catch you next time here on Eagles Now.